Hello and a very warm welcome to latest case analysis series by Law Seco. This is Monica Rahar, and for today's discussion, we've taken up a decision by the Honorable High Court of Punjab and Haryana, which is dated 11th of December 2020. The name of the case is Rahul, also known as Rahul Adiwal versus the state of Haryana. It is decided by a single judge bench, which is consisting of Honorable Mr. Justice Arun Kumar Tyagi. Now let's proceed and understand the issue of law. So the court was to decide whether non obtainment of a copy of a CCTV coverage of the crime scene, along with requisite certificates under Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act, can it be a ground for criminal action against the police officials who are responsible for the same. So, to speak of the issue of law simply, it would mean that whenever a crime takes place, then if there is a CCTV camera which is installed in the vicinity of it, then the police officials, they are duty bound to collect a copy of the same, and if they fails to do so, then can criminal action be initiated on the ground of non-obtainment of such a copy of the CCTV footage available, and against such police official who is responsible. So now let's proceed with the brief facts of the matter. So in FIR, it was lodged against petitioner and three others, and the allegations which were leveled against all these four accused was that they inflicted grievous injury on the brother of the complainant, and they were charged with the following sections of the Indian Penal Code. So the first charge being Section 323, which provides for punishment for voluntarily causing hurt, Section 324, which provides for voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapons and means, Section 326 provides for voluntarily causing grievous hurt by dangerous weapons or means, and then we have Section 188, which provides for disobedience to order which is duly promulgated by a public servant, and it is read with Section 34, which provides for acts done by several persons in furtherance of common intention. So, after having been arrested, the petitioner filed a petition before the High Court of Punjab and Haryana seeking regular bail, but the same was dismissed by the court. And thereafter, on 29th of September 2020, Sandeep and Ravi, who were the two co-accused with the petitioner, so these two, which is Sandeep and Ravi, they were granted anticipatory bail on the ground that the investigating officer attributed the injury caused to Aman, who is the third accused. So the four people who were allegedly involved in this particular crime, they were the petitioner himself, who is Rahul, and then we have the three others who are Sandeep, Ravi, and Aman. So Sandeep and Ravi, they were granted anticipatory bail, and the ground for grant of such an anticipatory bail was that the investigating officer stated that the particular grievous injury which was inflicted on the brother of the complainant by a sword, so it was inflicted by Aman, the third court accused, and not by the petitioner or not by Sandeep and Ravi. And thereafter, Chalan was also filed. So, Chalan is essentially police report, which is filed under Section 173, subsection 2 of the CRPC. So, Section 173 it provides for report of police officer on completion of investigation, and subsection 2, which is of relevance here, it provides for as soon as it is completed the investigation, then the officer who is in charge of the police station, he shall forward it to magistrate who is empowered to take cognizance of the offence on a police report. And what is to be forwarded to the magistrate? A report in form which is prescribed by the state government. And this report, it has to state the following, which are mentioned in the act, the bare acts itself, the section, and which is that the name of the parties, the nature of the information, the names of the persons who appear to be acquainted with the circumstances of the case, whether any offense appears to have been committed, and if so, by whom, whether the accused has been arrested, whether he has been released on his bond, and if so, with or without sureties, and whether he has been forwarded in custody under Section 170. Also, this report has to contain information with respect to the following, which is whether the report of medical examination of the woman has been attached where investigation relates to an offense under sections 174, which is rape, and the variants of it, which is 170, 176, which is rape, and the variants of it, which are 176 A, B, C, D, and E, DA also, and E. So these are the sections which pertains to rape. So, and variants of it. So if there is any investigation which is being carried out by police officials with respect to these offences, then whether a report of medical examination of the woman concerned is attached to the investigation report or not. So information of the same should also be contained in the police report, which is submitted under section 173 subsection 2. And further, the section states that the officer shall also communicate in such manner as may be prescribed by the state government the action taken by him to the person, if any, by whom the information relating to the commission of the offence was first given. So now the challan was filed, and thereafter, once this particular thing happened, that is, they were released or granted anticipatory bail, and the challan was filed, the petitioner filed second regular bail plea before the High Court itself on the ground of change in circumstances, which is the filing of the challan. So now let's proceed and understand the cases of the parties. So first, let's have a look at the case advanced by the counsel for the petitioner. So the petitioner essentially had two broader arguments to make. The first being that he was not the injury, the causing of the injury is not attributed to the petitioner, because there are two eventualities. The first being that if we take into course or consideration the statements made by the complainant, then the complainant or and also his brother, they attributed the causing of the injury to either the petitioner or Sandeep, who was already granted anticipatory bail. And secondly, if the the statement made by the investigating officer is to be considered, so then he attributed the causing of such an injury to Aman, who is the third co-accused and not the petitioner. So there is a dispute with respect to the fact that who caused the injury. And the second argument being that bail was granted, anticipatory bail was granted to other co-accused, and hence the petitioner should also be given or granted regular bail by this court. Now let's proceed further with the case of the respondent. So the respondent stated that the petitioner and the three other co-accused, they inflicted the injury, and therefore he should not be granted bail. So now let's proceed and understand the reasoning and decision of the court. So the court stated that the court at the very first instance, after having a look at the entire case, stated or held rather that regular bail should be granted to the petitioner on furnishing of personal and surety bond. And this regular bail, it was granted considering the following: the facts of the case and also the nature of the accusation. The second being that the case involved a disputed question as to who inflicted the grievous injury. And third being that there was a change in circumstance, which is the filing of challan. And also, the co-accused were granted pre-arrest bail or anticipatory bail, and the trial is likely to take some time because of the restrictions imposed in order to curtail the spread of COVID-19. And then the court went on to express its displeasure about the non obtainment of the CCTV footage by the investigating officer. So the court stated that the investigating officer did not obtain a copy of the CCTV coverage of the crime scene and also the requisite certificate under Section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act. And the court was apprised of the fact by in form of a reply on an affidavit by the senior superintendent of police that an investigation departmental action against the investigating officer was initiated for such non-action, which is the non-collection of the copy of CCTV footage. And the court, however, stated that this is not sufficient because it is already the cause of justice is already defeated by such non-availability of the CCTV footage. And then the court stated that commissioners, senior superintendents of police, and the SPs of the state of Haryana, they were directed to ensure that copy of CCTV footage along with the requisite certificate they are obtained wherever available. And in case there is a non-obtainment or non-action with respect to this aspect, then registration of a case under section 166 of 66A of the Indian Penal Code against the defaulting officer officials was directed, and this direction was given to the DGP Haryana. So now let's have a look at section 166A, which provides for public servant disobeying directions under law. Whoever, being a public servant, A, knowingly disobeys any direction of the law which prohibits him from requiring the attendance at any place of any person for the purpose of investigation into an offense or any other matter, or B, knowingly disobeys to the prejudice of any person any other direction of the law regulating the manner in which he shall conduct such investigation, or C, if he fails to record any information given to him under subsection 1 of section 154, which is essentially the FIR, wherein the police FIR is to be lodged by police, section 154. So if he fails to record any information or the FIR given to him under subsection 1 of section 154 of the CRPC in relation to cognizable offense which is punishable under section 326A, section 326B, section 354, section 354B, section 370, 370A, 376, 376A, B, C, D, DA, DB, and 376E, and also section 509. So all of these sections, they relate to offenses of sexual nature against women. And then what is the punishment? So if such an action is taken against a public servant for disobedience of direction under law, so the punishment is that he shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 6 months, but which may extend to 2 years, and shall also be liable to fine. So now I'd like to read the paragraph wherein this was stated in order to get a strong hold of it. So the court stated, however, it may be observed here that in the present case, the investigating officer did not obtain a copy of the CCTV footage of the occurrence in the camera installed in vicinity of the place of occurrence with requisite certificate. Although, as mentioned in the additional reply filed by way of an affidavit, departmental action has been initiated against the investigating officer, but taking of departmental action in one or more of such cases, it does not remedy the damage which is already been caused to the cause of justice, and steps are required to be taken to ensure that such lapses do not occur again and again. And therefore, Director General of Police, Haryana, is directed to issue appropriate instructions to the Commissioner, then to senior superintendents or superintendents of police in the state of Haryana to exercise effective supervision of the police officials who are posted in their respective states. And why is this to be done? It is to be done in order to ensure that in every case where any CCTV footage is claimed to be available, copies of the same are obtained from the source along with requisite certificate under section 65B of the Indian Evidence Act in accordance with law, and in case of any omission to do so, to direct registration of case under section 166 capital A of the IPC against the defaulting investigating officer. So therefore, eventually the court held that regular bail be granted to the petitioner, and the DGP Haryana was directed to ensure implementation of the directions with respect to CCTV footage and the obtainment of the same, and also a compliance report within a month was sought by the court. So that's all we have for this case analysis. At the end of it, you may find a list of abbreviations which we have used in note. You may refer to it. And thank you for being with us.